Hey, welcome back. So today we're going to do a little bit of a short video on how to cast a beach rod. Now, I haven't got a beach rod with me. This is a river rod just out of convenience, but the principles are the same. So the first thing you want to focus on a threadline reel like this, or a spinner reel, is your finger control of the line. This is probably the most important, sensitive and difficult thing to master. So you want to use your index finger to contact the line. Now, whether you just hold it with your finger or whether you press it against the rod itself is up to you. I generally just hold it with my finger so I can feel the tension in the line. You release the bail arm while maintaining contact here. Try not to let go or have that finger too long, or you'll lose line there and you'll have to wind it back up again. On that subject, if you focus up onto the line, if you wind your line up so that your hooks are fairly close to the tip of the rod, you'll have the maximum load you need without having too much loose line at the bottom. So you don't want to have too much lead hanging off your line because it's too loose and too difficult to create momentum to swing. So set it up so that your hook or your load is as close to the tip of the rod as possible, and get used to doing it the same way every time so that you get a good feel for weight when it's loaded. So once you've got that organized, you're contacting your finger on that line, lift the bail arm so that you maintain tension. The next thing to consider is the position of your arms and your rods. Your dominant leg should be in the back and your other leg should be in front. Now there's a lot of information on the website whether you have your line up, your bail arm down. I tend to keep it down so the bail arm doesn't flick accidentally across. A lot of people talk about 45-degree angle in your casting arm. That's desirable, but I'm focused on everything else, so I don't put too much thought on that. The other arm is a counterweight that just helps you cast a lot easier. Next thing to do is the more length you give your rod, the greater the cast. But once you open that arm up too much and the rod passes your shoulder, you lose a little bit of power. So there is a sort of a balance here between how much to hold distance-wise and how much to control. Generally 90 degrees is reasonable. From this position, you need to decide when to cast. Now, some people like to go under horizontal, but I think horizontal is pretty reasonable. From that position, what you want to do is look to where you want to cast your rod. And that's really important because where your eyes go is where the bait's going to go. So if I position myself this way, you can cast with the rod at the side, you can cast with the rod dipping down, but in this position, if your eyes are looking in the same line as your rod, that's more than likely where your bait's going to go to. So let me break that down little bit by little bit so that you can get some better idea of what the theory is. When you feel the load on your rod, remember to pull the bail arm back when you're casting. You want to feel a little bit of that load on your arm, and you want to load the rod, which means you want that weight of your line to create a little bit of tension in the rod itself, because we're going to use the rod to propel the bait forward. In situations like this, in situations like this, you want to start the cast slowly and accelerate as you go through your arc. And you release your line at about 11 o'clock. Wherever the tip of that rod is pointing is where the bait is going to go flying. So if you release the rod too high, the bait's going to go up in a high trajectory and land fairly close. If you release too low, the bait's going to go in a low trajectory and not give you enough distance. So there is a golden point here around 11 o'clock where you release your finger at that point so that it travels in the furthest, most efficient arc, just like an artillery piece. When you've released that, it'll travel. Once it's hit the water or you feel the slack come into your line, then close your bail arm. That's really important. Once that bail arm's been closed, there'll normally be a little bit of slack in that line as the sinker goes to the bottom. So you need to wind until you feel tension in that line. And that's when you either place it into your hip or you place it into your rod holder. And then you monitor for tension in that line. Now, I often stand there feeling that in my finger and wind it as I need to. Or you can just place it in your rod holder and watch slackness develop in your line and then wind it back a little bit as you need to. But that's basically all there is to it. Accelerate your rod slowly until you reach maximum speed at about 11 o'clock. Release your finger at that exact moment, and that's the best way to cast the line. So I hope that helps. Leave your comments in the section below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've got any tips of your own that we can add to help other people. And we'll see you in the next video. Look at this beautiful tailor. Just caught on a piece of pilchard. Number 10 hook. Just coming in before dusk. Beautiful bite, beautiful bang. Got him right on, and he just took the bait and went hard. What a beautiful catch.